This is a 1997 NA, which means that it's the first generation body type. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's naturally aspirated, although it does have a 1.8 liter naturally aspirated inline 4 engine in the front, sending all the power to the rear via a 5-speed gearbox. Manual, of course. The 97 model was one of the last models before the NB version, which is the updated version without the pop-up headlights and with a few other interior upgrades. So this is sort of one of the last hurrahs for the original body type Mazda Miata. This model has 96,000 miles on the odometer, and I've put about 600 miles on it so far in the past 4 weeks, and I've loved every second of it. I've even had a chance to drive it in the snow because this is Michigan and we have snow on April 22nd. Oh look, another little Mazda Miata. He gave me a wave. That's one of my favorite things about owning a Miata, is that there's a great community around this car. Whenever you see someone driving the other way with a Miata, especially the older ones, you can kind of give them a little pop-up headlights, bit of a wink, a wave, things like that. It's almost like if you own a motorcycle or something like that and you give other riders a wave. So a few other basic facts. It's obviously a two-door, two-seater sports car. My version has manual windows, manual locks. Pretty much, if something moves, you have to move it yourself. Even the mirrors are manual. If I want to adjust my passenger side mirror, I have to roll down the window, reach all the way across, and adjust it with my hand. My car is black, and I think it looks great in black as long as it's clean. I'm actually on my way to the self-serve car wash right now because it only takes about a week for this thing to start looking filthy. It collects dust really easily, and in the sunlight it just looks awful when it's covered in dust and stuff. When you're stuck in traffic like this, the Miata is definitely a sad car. It doesn't like to be stuck like this. It wants to be out on the open road, whizzing around corners, revving up to 4, 5, 6,000 RPM. That's where it's really happy. The 1.8 liter inline 4 made about 130 horsepower from the factory. Right now, mine's probably making anywhere between 110 to 125, depending on how well the previous owners maintained it, which I think is pretty good because I do get a decent amount of power considering how small the engine is and how old it is. So, things that I've done to my car since I bought it. The first thing I did was I got a radar detector. But the first mechanical thing I did to this car was I replaced the brakes, I got Hawk pads and Brembo rotors, so it stops really nicely now. And it hardly weighs anything, so the stopping distance wasn't that much of a concern to begin with. Nobody can really hate on a Miata. They're just a fun, friendly car. When you look at it from the front or from the back, it kind of has this smiley, sort of cartoonish look. It's almost like a puppy. I personally love the soft top convertible. It really adds to the character of the car. I think the soft top convertible is really what makes a Miata a Miata. I mean, you can get the hard tops or the touring sort of folding hard top that the newest versions have, but to me, soft top is the way to go. The downsides to the soft top are that it does kind of leak when it gets really rainy. We had a downpour about a week ago, and I came in my car and the passenger seat was damp. It wasn't soaking, but it was damp, and you could see drops coming from between the window and the roof. But I managed to adjust the little rubber pieces that are between the window and the roof, and now it's a much tighter seal, and I haven't had any leaking issues since, but there hasn't been a giant downpour since either, so I guess we'll have to see how that works out. The one thing it did do, though, was it made it much harder for me to put the put the top up. So beware, if you're tightening everything up, it's going to make everything kind of a little bit trickier to put back together. It's really easy to pop the roof down. It takes like 5 seconds tops. You just undo these two little clips here and pop it back and it's down. I always get out of the car to put the roof back up. It is possible to do it from inside the car, but it takes a lot more strength than you might otherwise think. You just have really bad leverage from the... Here we go. I love revving it out like that. It's so much fun. You're not going very fast, but it feels like you are. This is one of those cars, kind of like the FRS or the Subaru, whichever version you choose to go with. It feels like you're going fast, even when you're going the speed limit. And for someone who's a young guy like me, 22 years old in college, doesn't have a lot of money to spend on insurance and things like that, that's the perfect match. When I bought this car, it came with this chrome roll bar, and I really like it. I get a lot of compliments on it, actually. It's one of the things that I was surprised that people really like it. I don't know if the roll bar adds any rigidity to the chassis. I personally can't feel a difference between when the roll bar is on and when it's off, but hey, it looks cool. So my car has the plastic rear window, which, I mean, it's nice because you can put the roof down really quickly. With the glass window, you have to unzip it before you put the roof down, but I would really take the glass over that, even with that inconvenience, because it fogs up easily. The plastic is kind of crinkled and sort of opaque looking, so it's not as easy to see through, especially at night when you're trying to reverse out of a parking spot. It's really not the best, but it is watertight. I haven't had any issues with it so far. No leaks or anything like that. So plastic works, but I think I would recommend the glass. One of the most surprising things that I've found is that the sound system in here is actually pretty good. I don't know if any of the previous owners upgraded it or anything. It does have an aftermarket stereo, but the speakers appear to be stock, and they're actually pretty good. They're better than my 2002 Chevy Malibu was. Better bass, better treble. Maybe the smaller cockpit helps because you get more of a surround sound feel, but I've been fairly impressed with how good the stereo sounds. So one thing you do have to watch out for with such a small engine is if you want to be able to accelerate quickly, you have to keep it in that upper 4,000 to 7,000 revs, because that's where all your power is. There really isn't much low-end torque. So if you're used to more American-style cars where you have plenty of low-end torque and you can accelerate easily with under 3,000 revs, you're going to have to get used to really pushing it into that upper rev area in order to get some acceleration. But once you're there, it's awesome. And it sounds great too. Handling. Now this is one of those things that you always hear about a Miata. It handles so well. And to be honest, it really does. I think it really comes down more to its tiny size. So a car that weighs less doesn't have as much momentum to carry through any corner, so it's easier for it to change direction. And in addition to some good suspension, decent tires, it handles really well. Does it handle as well as a Honda S2000? No, but this car is so predictable. When you're going around a corner, you know exactly how much more grip you have, and you can tell exactly when it's starting to run out of grip. So I would say it may actually be easier to drive this around a corner fast, especially if you're a novice, because it just feels safer and more predictable. Over the past month, this car has treated me extremely well. I really couldn't be happier with my purchase. Things like the small cabin, reduced practicality, and noisy ride quality are just minor inconveniences in the grand scheme of things. Because overall, this is a fantastic car. When you think of how much this cost, I really don't think I could have gotten anything much better. In fact, I think this is the best purchase I've ever made. I would highly recommend this car to anybody who's looking for a small, fun sports car, or even a reliable, small, daily driver. You really just can't go wrong. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.